entertaining radio station and what it's meant to you. And soon, we'll all be better off for it. Thank you for telling a friend about WPLP.
Ladies and gentlemen, Tampa Bay's bad boy of talk radio, Mr. Mad Dog Lassiter. Feel free to call no matter what your beef may be. However, it's only fair to warn you that Mr. Lassiter has been known to make hamburger out of sacred cows. And now, here he is, Bob Lassiter.
7.5 minutes after the hour of 8 o'clock Tuesday, May the 12th, 1987. Welcome indeed. Lassiter with you until 11, as I am every Monday through Friday, right here at News Talk 57 WPLP, and of course every fourth or fifth Saturday. But we don't have one of those to worry about until I think it's May 30th will be the next fourth or fifth Saturday. And besides, between now and then, you just never know what's going to happen. So, maybe it'll be May 30th, or maybe it won't be. It's a very strange business I work in. Very, very peculiar business I work in. In any event, we're going to have an open program tonight, right on through the magic 11 o'clock hour. Nothing but you and I and a battle of wits, even though some of us come unarmed, but that's neither here nor there. Before we get down to business tonight, I was sitting in the office before the show going through our vast library of material to help the show hosts appear not to be ignorant. And I came upon perhaps our greatest reference source, the Star, the May 19th edition, and I found in there something that I thought would be a great help to all of us. You in particular, of course. It's an article entitled, How to Fight Phone Phobia. Now, we both know that only a handful of people, a relative handful of people who listen to talk radio actually ever bother to call. And the rest of you are just scared you-know-what list. Well, it doesn't have to be that way. My goodness, it doesn't have to be that way. And I was just astounded. Here's this article laying right underneath our noses, and there are 12 helpful hints on how to fight phone phobia. So I thought before we even gave out the phone numbers tonight, we would go through these 12 helpful hints on how to fight phone phobia. And that it just should open up a whole new world to most of you who never call. Okay, let us start with tip number 1. Many of you will probably want to run and get a paper and a pencil and, perhaps a crayon, whatever. I'll wait. Good. Are you ready? Here we go with tip number 1. If you find yourself thinking about ways to get out of making a phone call, well, stop. Get involved in other activities to distract yourself. Worrying about what might happen to you when you're on the telephone can only reinforce negative thinking. So do something that, pick your nose or count the number of toes that you have. And then make the phone call. Stop worrying about the fact that I'm going to cut you to shreds and make a fool of you. Just don't worry about that. Don't let it enter into your mind at all. Helpful hint number 2 on how to fight phone phobia. This is helpful hint number 2. Examine your life. Shouldn't take long for most of you. It is not uncommon for your fear to be magnified following a stressful life change, such as a retirement or a divorce. So all of you that recently retired within, let's say the past 10 days, or those of you who were divorced this afternoon, need not call in, but there's obviously no excuse for the rest of you. Helpful phone tip number 3. Don't get angry or upset at not being able to do what other people can do. For example, make sense. Anger, envy, and embarrassment only add to other negative feelings to those you already have. So, don't be bummed out because you're going to call up and make a fool of yourself. Because you're not as articulate as everybody else. Don't let that worry you. Helpful phone tip number 4. If you know that someone is going to call you, plan to make the call yourself rather than wait. And if the phones get quiet, we shall be calling people at random. And it could be you that we call. So in order to avoid that embarrassment, you will want to call us tonight. This will give you a greater command of the situation. I mean, imagine you're sitting there at, it's about 10:22 tonight, and you're sitting there thinking, the Bob Lassiter Show's really good today. It doesn't have too many phone calls tonight, and all of a sudden your phone starts ringing. Now, it could be us. It could be Aunt Mabel. It could be a wrong number. You won't know, but just imagine you will be absolutely terrified. Oh, God, it's Lassiter on the other end of the phone. He's going to call me a subhuman pig and hang up. Oh, I can't deal with it. So you make the call. Helpful phone tip number 5.
Jerk, get off my phone. Don't. As a matter of fact, have the phone removed from the house. You're a moron.
That's the worst that can possibly happen, right? Now, if you have qualms about answering the phone or picking it up to make a call, make a list of things that might go wrong during the call and just continue along with that list until your imagination wears out. Hell, for most of you, that shouldn't take more than 2-3 minutes. For some of you, 15-20 seconds. Helpful phone tip number 6. Know that the feelings you have, while frightening, are not dangerous. We haven't lost, Michael, about 3 people? 3 people in 20 months have suffered strokes or heart attacks while calling this show, and most of those were very elderly anyway, and should have died much sooner than they did. Now, know that the feelings that you have are not dangerous. They rarely, if ever, lead to what you think might occur in the future. Okay? Helpful phone tip number 7. You are writing all these down, aren't you? Of course you are. I knew that. Practice on a safe, impersonal level. Dial the weather report or the information operator. And you can, go through them. You can practice with them whatever your spiel is going to be. Call up the information operator and tell her how much you appreciate the great job that Ronald Reagan is doing. She won't know what the hell you're talking about, but when you call me, I won't know what the hell you're talking about either. She will probably be more polite than I am, but then you'll have the practice under your belt, and then you can call me, and I'll call you a subhuman pig and hang up on you. Helpful phone tip number 8. Practice breathing deeply and regularly. Now, panicky people tend to hold their breath or to breathe rapidly, and this can cause lightheadedness. Breathing calmly makes your voice sound better on the telephone. Now think about that. I sound great, right? Do you hear me going, Of course not. And you know how many lightheaded people call this program. So obviously the answer is breath control. Breath control. Breathe deeply. Let us practice together. We'll do 10, okay? In, out. See, wasn't that easy? Now you all should sound like me. Okay, let us go on. Helpful tip number 9. Grade your fear on a scale of 1 to 10. I like questions like that. Grade it on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being the lowest, 10 being the highest. Grade your fear on a scale of 1 to 10. Try to see what causes the level to go up and down. Huh? What the hell, is this written by one of my callers or something? Be aware of the differences between your thoughts and your feelings when you are at the 10 level and when you're at a low 3 level. What in the hell does that say? Disregard number 9. Let us just go right on to number 10. Focus on something other than your fear. Now, we know that you're petrified to call me, so focus on something other than your fear. Make a checklist of the points you want to get across. That shouldn't take long. Touch familiar objects, snap a rubber band, count stripes on the wall, or stripes on the wall and doodling when they call this program. Helpful tip number 11. Stay in a situation long enough to see that your discomfort will pass. The most difficult time is the first 10 seconds when you pick up the phone or answer a call. Now think about that. Have I ever called someone a subhuman pig within the first 10 seconds? Well, have I ever called somebody a subhuman pig within the first 5 or 6 seconds? Okay, you see, nothing to fear at all. 12th and last, try to function with fear. If you can accept it, you will learn to relax. That, in turn, will diminish your fear. So even though you're scared you-know-what-less, you have no excuse whatsoever not to call. Now, I hope that those 12 easy, helpful hints on how to fight phone phobia should keep the phone lit not only tonight, but for every night.
To join in the conversation, the number to call in Hillsborough County is...
20 minutes after the hour of 8 o'clock on this Tuesday night, May the 12th. I just know this is going to be a special night. I just know that, especially now with those 12, well, make it 11, helpful hints on how to fight phone phobia that we gave out in the first portion of the program as a public service will make all of the difference in the world. Now, you know as well as I do that the last week or so... Get yourself together, Lassiter. I've been rough. Real rough. And I know that that's going to come to a screeching halt tonight. This will be a great night. We will have nothing but fantastic callers all the way through until 11 o'clock. We're going to make history tonight. I just can feel it in my bones. It's an open program. You've got the telephone numbers, don't you? Of course you do, but I'll give them out anyway. Hillsborough, 224-0057, 224-0057. Pinellas, 393-0057, 393-0057. Now, that is known as pumping the phone numbers in the business. Even though everybody who listens to the show with any degree of regularity, for more than 12 minutes a month, knows those phone numbers by heart. And they know that they're listening to a talk radio program, a two-way telephone talk radio program, and they know that it requires their participation. But for some strange reason, it never dawns on them to call in unless you give out the phone numbers. So that's why we give out the phone numbers. I can't wait for that first call tonight. I'll bet you can't either, right? I could tell. The first phone call, of course, is the quintessential phone call. It's the one that sets the pace for the evening. It's the one that determines just to what great heights we shall go, or sometimes to what great lows we shall sink to. So without any further ado, let's get down to that first phone call. Apollo Beach, hi, you're on the air at WPLP.
Sir, I listen to you just about every night. To be very frank with you, ever since I got back from Vietnam, I've had a great problem sleeping, and I always listen to WPLP at night when I can't sleep.
Well, Chris James isn't on anymore, though.
What's that?
I said Chris James isn't on anymore.
Well, that's true, but what I'm speaking out tonight is what I call an invasion of privacy, and I wanted to bring it up to you, which irritates me. I worked very hard today. I'm a public servant. And I got home this evening, and I noticed these great big signs in front of my house on my curb. They were about, I'd say, 1.5 to 2 foot wide with my house number on it. As I drove down my street, I noticed all these signs in front of each house on the street. And when I got home, I asked my wife, I said, Darlene, is this part of 911, or do you know anything about this? Is this some kind of public service that's being offered this evening?
Are you asking me?
No, I don't know anything about this. And so as I was sitting down to eat dinner after a hard day's work as a public servant, this gentleman knocks on my door. And he said, sir, I'm here to collect a donation for putting the house number on your curb. Well, I guess I just about exploded because I live in a nice neighborhood. If you looked at it today with these signs on it, it would almost appear to be a ghetto or a block neighborhood. I'm not cutting that down, sir, but I'm saying that there's some people in the state of Florida, and the name of this thing is called the Curb Connection, and it's called Billy, Jeff, Lisa, Paul, and Roberta. And I think this is a disgrace that someone would come in front of your home and paint in bold black and white letters your house number on your street. Now, they asked there's always a catch to this, I guess, and I guess I've learned a lot from listening to you about the way you handle your program, and I really respect you, and I love listening to you at night, the way you handle things. But I actually ejected this man off my property this evening.
Well, I don't blame you.
And I did
run the old scoundrel off, too.
And I told him to leave, and I'd take a class action lawsuit.
I painted some numbers on him, though, before I'd throw him out.
And he says large black numbers or white letters will be painted on fine masonry paint, headlight reflected. We estimate the value of $5. There is no fixed charge, and donations, and this is enlarged on the little donation that was left in my mailbox. Large or small will be appreciated. Please make your donation when we call at your door tomorrow evening. If you will not be home or do not wish to be disturbed, please leave your donation wrapped in this note and taped to your door. You know, I really, these type people that operate around communities in Hillsborough County, Pinellas, and Manatee is a disgrace. Now, I asked the man, I said, I want this removed off my property tomorrow. I said, I think this is the value of my property. And he said, well, sir, I'll have someone over tomorrow. I said, I like your name. The man refused to give me his name, except to give me this little portfolio that explained what they were doing, which an ignorant person, if he read it, would probably believe that this was some type of governmental operation. And the only reason I called you this evening, sir, is that if any other communities around Manatee, Polk, Hillsborough are subject to the same thing, I think we have a choice in this. How would you like a large sign sitting on your curb out there right by your mailbox? You know, I have enough money to make sure that my house is properly addressed so an ambulance or an emergency service could see what's here. And this is a terrible thing, and I wanted to get it on because I thought you would support me in this matter tonight, and that's why I called you. And the name of this company is the Curb Connection, and I think it's a disgrace of what they're doing. I just want your comments on the matter, sir.
Well, I, too, think it's a disgrace. Clearwater, hi, you're on the air at WPLP.
Yes, sir. All during the Gary Hart situation, you've always taken a very beautiful, magnificent middle ground objective when people call you about, you always said, allege this and allege that. Anyway, I wonder whether you have a comment on the fact that I saw the paper yesterday on the 4th page, I believe, buried, that the Miami Herald had retracted their observation statement in the fact that their man that was supposed to be watching followed the wrong car, etc. But I hear nothing more about it all of a sudden.
Well, it's over and done with, isn't it?
Yeah, but how
Ain't
come...
nothing going to bring him back.
How come the Miami Herald isn't put on the front page, sir?
Miami Herald was put on the front page. From the very beginning of the story, there were many, many gaping holes in it.
But now that the hole has been found...
No, it's yesterday's news now. It's over and done with. He's out of the race.
I'll be darned. I'll be darned. You would think that the Miami Herald should be...
Besides, it wasn't the Miami Herald story that knocked him out of the race. The story that knocked him out of the race hasn't been printed yet. It was the one that the Washington Post was going to print, where he's fooling around with somebody else's wife.
One, yeah. But it's amazing that the Miami Herald has not received some front page publicity in the fact
the Miami Herald has received a week and a half's worth of criticism from all over the country.
It's all over. How you feeling today?
You really want to know?
You sound good. And have a good evening.
Can be deceiving.
You have a good evening.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Oh, what a start. What a start. Oh, God, it's going to be a great one, isn't it? Tampa, you're on the air at WPLP.
Hello.
Hello.
Jerry, wait.
Great. My name's Bob Lassiter. I'm 41 years old. How old are you?
You know, the one I've been listening... 11.
11?
I've been listening to you for about 3 weeks now.
Uh-huh.
For about 3 weeks. And from what I hear...
Yeah?
You don't really like black people that much, do you?
I don't like anybody.
Yeah,
especially snot-nosed kids.
What?
Especially snot-nosed kids with stupid mothers.
I'm not a snot-nosed kid.
Funny, you sounded to me like a snot-nosed kid.
Why do you say that?
Because that's what you sound like to me. That's why I said it.
Well, you sound like a person I wouldn't want to meet.
Well, I'll tell you what. Let's keep it that way, all right?
Okay, I'll never talk to you.
Good.
I mean, meet you. Well, tell me this.
Uh-huh.
How come you've got this big ego about not liking everybody?
Because I've got the show. You don't.
Yeah,
See, when you have the show,
I've got
when
friends.
it says, you know, what was your name, Joey or something like that?
What?
What was your name, Joey or something like that?
Joey.
Something clever and original? Well, when the show says, you know, the Joey Show, then you can be any way you want to be. But for the time being, it's the Bob Lassiter Show, and that means I can be any way I want to be.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Well, tell me this. If you think you're so bad, how come you never talk to anybody in person like this?
Oh, I do.
Face to face?
Oh, I do all the time.
You do?
Yeah. Just ask my boss how I talk to him.
Yeah, that's about all.
Is that about all? I beg your pardon. It's the way I talk to everybody.
Is in person, face to face?
Yep. You see, in addition to having my own radio show, I also happen to be a very large man, and I can get away with saying things because people are afraid of me.
What?
Yeah. And mean. Very, very mean.
Well...
Matter of fact, just last week, some punk kid, about 10 and a half, 11 years old, called the show. I went over to his house right after the show and kicked all the spokes out of his bicycle.
Well, me and my friends, we're starting a club.
Oh, really? How original.
Yeah, I mean, there's a guy back of me named Greg.
Uh-huh.
He listens to you all the time, and we think it's funny, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But now really talking to you, I found out what you're like.
That's right. That's what I'm like.
See you later. I hope you have a good time insulting people.
Was that your mother in the background who said telling me that you have to go night-night?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Why don't you tell your mother that the next time she wants to insult the guy on the radio, she should have the nerve to do it herself instead of taking her 11-year-old kid and having the kid do it? Sure.
All right, here she is.
Okay.
I don't want to talk to him.
I don't want to talk to him. I love it.
She doesn't want to talk to you.
Of course she doesn't. The woman's a coward. That's why she had her 11-year-old kid call up and confront me. Mad Dog Lassiter, the scourge of Tampa Bay. Oh, what a if I had a mother like that, I'd put in for a change of address.
The phone numbers that...
About, well, you don't like, incriminating people and killing them and the whole thing. What about this guy that, cut off the two arms of the woman?
What about him, sir?
Well, don't you think that's the most horrendous thing you ever heard in your life?
Not the most, but certainly it's well up there, yeah.
And what you would think that would happen to him?
Sir, I don't know what the hell you're talking about. Just, get to the bottom line. I'm not into 20 questions. I never have been. I never will be. Just make your point.
Why, I can't believe that you would exonerate him or anything else.
Sir, I don't believe I said I would exonerate anyone.
Well...
Did I?
I know you...
Did I, sir?
Well, you can't...
Did I, sir? Did I, sir?
You can't commit yourself?
Yes, sir, I can commit myself to getting you the hell off the air and moving on. Tampa, you're on the air, WPLP.
Bob?
Yes.
Yeah, I want to get a little more serious. Did you listen to the Jack Wheeler show about economics?
No, I did not.
Okay, I was on the road and I couldn't comment. But the speaker on there was very critical of the deficit spending. If, in your opinion, if we were to have a vote by the American people, do you think the American people would want a balanced budget or not want a balanced budget?
Well, it all depends. If you told them what it would take to get a balanced budget, they would say no.
This is regrettable, in my opinion.
Well, of course it's regrettable.
Why not balance the budget? This is a question that I've had for years.
Well, it's very simple. Because people don't want to cut spending, nor do they wish to pay the price. If we were to continue to spend at the same level and raise the amount of money, the difference between what we are taking in and what we are putting out, we would have to raise personal income tax approximately $8 $1,200 for every man, woman, and child. In other words, a family of 4, $3,200.
But why not?
More.
Okay. Why not just cut out the deficit spending and just...
Well, what would you like to cut, sir?
Well, that's a good question.
Yes, it's an excellent question.
But I think that if we bit the bullet one time, we would be a lot better off in 2 or 3 years down the road.
Well, let me explain some reality to you. If you eliminated everything that the federal government spends, with the exception of military, interest on the debt, and pensions, you would still have a deficit. Okay. If you eliminated everything but military spending, interest on the debt, which is committed, must be paid, and pensions, you would still have a deficit.
So, in other words, there's no hope of ever having a balanced budget again in our modern history.
Sure there is.
You know, every politician, Democrat or Republican, it makes no difference who's there. They always talk about aiming toward a balanced budget. But, you know, from what you're saying, this is virtually impossible.
No, it's not impossible. What it's impossible to do is to cut down to a balanced budget. We have to raise taxes and cut in some areas. But people who tell you that you can cut down to a balanced budget are liars, or they're ignorant. They don't know what they're talking about.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I would love to see a balanced budget, but perhaps it's impossible.
No, it's not impossible.
Or that is immediately impossible. It's something I
Immediately impossible? Yes, it is immediately impossible.
Perhaps a 5-year plan or a 10-year plan or something?
That's roughly what it would take.
But, you know, this situation is, it's atrocious. No matter who gets in, is more and more and more deficit. Reagan is supposedly a conservative, and yet he has the most unbalanced budget that there's ever been in the history of our country.
That's correct. Hello? He's gone? He's gone. Oh, let's see here. Seminole, you're on the air at WPLP.
Hi, how you doing, Bob?
Fine.
Oh, I wish I'd
It doesn't change that frequently.
What's that?
It just doesn't change that much.
I guess not. I wish I'd have caught the first part of your show. I was a little involved here in a Tupperware party. Anyway.
You wish I was.
You wish you were, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Your monologue, did it by any chance deal with balancing the budget?
No.
No, okay. Well, anyway, I've got a possible solution.
12 points on how to fight phone phobia.
Oh, is that what it was?
That's what it was, yes.
Sounds interesting.
It was very good.
I could have helped contribute some whatever you'd want to call it. Well, how about a federal sales tax on everything of about 1 to 2% as far as solving our national deficit?
Wouldn't do it.
You don't think that would do it?
No, it wouldn't raise that much money.
Not on every item sold, 1 or 2% sales tax.
No, and besides that, it's a very regressive tax.
Okay, well, yeah, and yesterday I wanted to answer one of those questions that I didn't get to, which is the one on what if Jesus Christ wasn't crucified.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if Jesus Christ, there's many answers, I suppose, but one of the answers for that could...
No, there's only one answer.
Well, it depends on who's answering, I suppose. But if I was to answer it, one of the answers would be that if Jesus Christ wasn't crucified, hardened criminals wouldn't be able to sit in jail and try to get some kind of a satisfaction by asking for Jesus for forgiveness.
Oh, man, I want to tell you, there are some people in this world who just... And earlier tonight, we started the program by going through the 11 helpful hints on how to fight phone phobia. And what does this bimbo do? She takes her 11-year-old kid, an 11-year-old, oh, my God, virgin, and sends the poor kid up against Mad Dog Lassiter, the meanest man in Tampa Bay. Oh, man. Boy, if I had a mother like that, whoa. Well, the kid probably got her a Mother's Day present last week, too. What a way to pay the kid back. Do you have any idea what kind of trauma this kid's going to go through for the rest of his life? Needlessly. Here's a kid who probably wanted to go out and play in a washing machine box or something.
Joey, get in here and call Bob Lassiter on the phone and give him a bunch of crap. Come on, Ma. I want to go out and play with my buddy. Get in here, Joey, and give Bob Lassiter a lot of crap. Oh, come on, Mom. I'm going to beat you, Joey, if you don't get in here and call him.
Oh, wow. Bummer. Pinellas, 393-0057, 393-0057. You see, I told you it was going to be a good night. I could just feel it in my bones. Carrollwood, Yuppieville. Hi, you're on the air, WPLP.
Is this Robert Mad Dog, a.k.a. Scourge of Tampa Bay, Lassiter?
It sure is. Do you have a BMW?
No, I'm driving an 85 Fiero.
How can you live in Carrollwood driving an 85 Fiero? I mean, don't you feel, ashamed?
Well, I'm just like everybody else out here. I'm up to my nose in hock.
Yeah, but if you're going to be up to your nose in hock, it should be, at least for a Mercedes, not a
Can't
Fiero.
Get far into hock. I'm eating bologna already.
What is a Fiero anyway? I don't even... what is that, an Oldsmobile?
Out here, everybody eats bologna and orange juice.
Well, out there, everybody talks bologna, but I'm not sure about what they're eating. I think they're eating egg salad.
No, it's a Pontiac.
How are things in Carrollwood tonight?
The same as usual.
All right. What did your mother want you to say to me?
Well, now, Mom wanted me to tell you what a big bad guy you were.
Well, thank you. What's your name, Joey, too? Everybody's name's Joey these days.
I told her the reason why I wasn't going to give you a hard time was that I went down to West Shore and saw you one time, and I said, I'm not going to mess with anybody that big.
That's right.
Yeah, see, I'm not stupid.
That's right.
But what I wanted to ask you about...
Funny thing is, you see, everybody thought that Tim Coles was me and that I'm Tim Coles.
Well, that's what everybody's trying to intimidate, because they didn't know you were the big fellow on the far end there, see.
Well, no, that's what everybody thought, that I was the big fellow. They didn't really understand that I was that kind of, little guy with the ratty-looking mustache and the blue blazer.
Oh, I see. You really are Tim Coles?
I really am Tim Coles.
Oh, well, then, darn, I had all kind of abuses I could have used that I'm not going to be able to use now because I'm not prepared, see. You threw me off base. But what I wanted to ask you really, Bob, was how is the So Far campaign coming along?
So Far is doing fantastically. As a matter of fact, I got a message today. The cable news network wants to do an interview or something with us on that.
Oh, good.
We got out the last batch, at least the last batch that I have to get out of petitions this very morning. So if you haven't received your petition yet, you should get it tomorrow.
Well, I've already got one and sent one in.
Well, they're starting to come back in droves. I'm very, very pleased with the way it's working out.
You know, though, Bob, what would really surprise you? Where I work, it's a professional office, okay? Now, I went around from person to person, not only just, I didn't pass this thing around the office. I more or less, gave a little sales pitch for it, in a way, too. Mostly my friends. And I got 18 signatures. I didn't get the 25, I got 18 signatures. And there's like 30 people working there, okay? Now, you would have been, or you wouldn't have been, but I would have been because I know these people. I was shocked by some of the reasons that some of these people gave for not signing it.
Oh, lay them on me. Try some out on me.
Okay, we'll start off with that if they were to put their signature on something like that, and fascism really got a strong hold in this country. Now, that's an oxymoron to what we're really talking about. The reason for the thing to begin with was to combat that type of thing, right?
That's right.
That if they put their signature on such things as that, and fascism ever was to really take control in the country, that their names would be, on a bad list. We're talking about college graduates here now.
Amazing.
People were...
Let's be honest about it. We're talking about vocational school graduates.
Well, mentally, yes. As far as middle level is concerned, yes. I got reasons like, for instance, another interesting one was that if I didn't mind my children being exposed to advertisements for condoms and things like that, which encourage promiscuous sexual activity and practically show an outward advocation, on my part, of it, that was my business.
Now you've got to be kidding me.
No, I'm not. That's what I'm saying. I was shocked. I expected this thing to fly around the room and I'd drop it in the mailbox, right? Mm-hmm. And it did for the larger part. Most of the people signed it and were in agreement with it.
I cannot believe that anybody under the age of, 153 would be bummed out about condom ads, which, first of all, it has nothing whatsoever to do with. But that is stunning.
3 people gave that as their reason, that by signing something like that they were advocating the outward advertisement, of sex control devices, which would in turn encourage premarital sexual activity among teenagers. And for God's sake, I asked one guy, I said, would you rather that your son or your daughter came down with AIDS? I said...
Or pregnant.
I said, this isn't something that's based on specific little points like that. I said, it has a large general overlying point. It's the First Amendment.
Oh, this is amazing. You're right. I would have never guessed.
I was shocked. There were people...
These are relatively young people? 40-ish?
Young and middle-aged. Nobody out of their 40s.
Amazing. Just amazing.
It was shocking. I was able to, out of an office now. This is a civil engineering office. Everyone in that office has either an associate's degree or a bachelor's degree. There are 2 or 3 people with master's degrees in that office. I was able to get 18 signatures, and that was bottom line. I waited for people to come back from lunch that I hadn't hit yet, right, to try to get. I wanted to get that 25 signatures so badly. I was only able to get 18. Finally, that was it, and our secretary signed it, So some of the people, there were 2 or 3 people there who, you would have expected maybe to have those attitudes because they weren't that terribly well educated. I did sign it because they had the intelligence, and the intuition to realize what this thing really was about.
Well, the day will come. The day will come when people like that will live in the type of country where they will find themselves saying, gee, I wished I had signed a petition.
Yeah, especially with somebody like Edmund Meese running around.
Or Pat Robertson.
Exactly.
Yeah. Fantastic. Fantastic.
Okay, Bob. Well, I just wanted to have a little rap with you and wish you a good evening.
I thank you very much.
Sounds like you got a good one going here.
Oh, I tell you, we got a pressure cooker here tonight.
Take care now.
Be good.
Bye-bye.
Unbelievable. Hillsborough 224-0057, Pinellas 393-0057. Notice he's pumping the phone numbers. Tampa, you're on the air at WPLP.
Hi.
Hi.
I'm Lynn Whitaker, and I'm calling from Tampa.
Okay.
I'm referring to the call you got from the kids. And I agree with you totally. I think you have an awesome show, and you're an awesome person. And whether you're 41 years old or not, I think you must be a good-looking guy.
Well.
And keep it up.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
All right. I tell you, it's got 2 straight ones in a row, but, don't go switching the dial yet. I'm sure it will not continue that way very long. Let us go next to Tampa. Tampa, you're on the air at WPLP.
Mad
oh, my God, it's Lionel. Lionel, how are you? It's been, about 20 minutes since last you called the show?
Huh?
It's been about, 20 minutes since last you called?
Seems 2 calls. Oh. What, did it sound like me?
Well, I don't know, Lionel. What do I know?
What, the kid?
If I knew anything, I would be working in Tampa Bay. I'd be in a, big market like Akron.
Did you think I was the kid?
I don't know, Lionel.
By the way, I caught you in Miami recently. I was down there when I heard you on Neil Rogers. Now, that's a show.
Oh, that's a show.
That guy's...
Because of the great guests he has on.
The hell with the guests. That is a star. That's talk radio.
That's right. He doesn't have to put up with people like I've got to put up with.
Oh, come on. Who the hell do you got to put up with? You love...
People like you and Joey.
Joey. Yeah, me and Joey have got a lot in common. Our mother...
I know that.
...on the phone.
Well, what do you want tonight, Lionel?
Well, I just wanted to call you up and tell you I was just sitting here nonplussed by the level of excitement of your show so far. I mean, the kid, the guy from Carrollwood who works with dyslexic, psychotic people. I mean, this is fascinating.
Well, this is talk radio in Tampa Bay. What do you want, Lionel?
Well, I felt sorry for you.
Ever since Levine left town, the market's just gone to hell.
Levine? You always talk about Levine.
Yes, Levine.
You must have really liked him or something.
No, I didn't.
Was he a mentor of yours?
I do not understand why the people of Tampa Bay are not calling me on the show. I don't understand. What is the matter with the people of Tampa Bay?
Come on, you're jealous of him, too. He had a hell of a show.
Oh, give me a break.
He had a hell of a show.
Oh, give me a what? Because he talked to you every day?
They loved him.
Oh, now it's 10 after 10. Lionel should be calling any moment. Where is Lionel? Ah, there is Lionel now. Hello, Lionel.
At the mall.
Well, I beg your pardon.
I waited an hour for you. Didn't you see the hordes of Filipinos waiting for you? Remember our bet? Which one of us?
Of course there were hordes of Filipinos waiting around the mall because you look like Mrs. Marcos. They were out to steal your shoes.
Get out. You know what you can do in your shoe?
Oh, whoa, wait a second. Don't you go tell me what I can do in my own show, Lionel.
You didn't even show up. I'm surprised.
Boy, have I got news for you, but I'm not going to tell you yet.
You're not?
No. Ruins your whole act.
Okay.
Your entire act. It's gone.
I'm thrilled. I'm waiting with bated breath.
Should we tell him, Michael? Should we tell him? Should we tell him? Lionel, are you sitting down?
I think so.
Are there arms on the chair, Lionel?
No, it's a beanbag chair.
A beanbag chair. Well, okay. Yoki is going back to Ohio.
No!
You won't have Yoki to kick around anymore.
No!
Oh, I knew. Oh, God.
Call the EMS.
Should have had him take a couple of stiff drinks before we told him that.
Get the nitro. No! I didn't have anything to do with it. Yoki, I was...
What do you mean you don't have anything to do with it? He left a note on his door. He said, I can't take it anymore. This guy Lionel is driving me berserk. Goodbye forever, going back to Ohio, signed Yoki.
The man's a loser. You know that? Well, you should know that. If anybody knows it...
What do you mean he's a loser? He's getting out of town.
Well, Bob, this is your chance.
He's getting away from you. What do you mean he's a loser?
This is your chance to move up.
We're so envious of him. We can't see straight.
This is your chance to move up. Maybe make, $16,000 a year, maybe. You could be operations manager, whatever the hell he was.
I don't want to be in management. I started in management and worked my way down.
Yeah, the Morse code station in Guam doesn't call.
It wasn't in Guam. It was in the Virgin Islands.
You know, Bob, I'm starting to like you, and that's scary. It's like somebody with...
I wish I could say the same, Lionel.
No, it's like somebody with venereal warts saying, I like the way my pants fit now.
Whoa. Can we say venereal warts with that new FCC directive, venereal warts?
Check that. Would you read the list again, Bob, so I can make sure? I've got my list.
No, I don't see it on the list here, so I guess it's okay.
Is anal cleft on there?
I beg your pardon?
Is anal cleft?
No, I think he's working in Muncie now.
What about
he's doing a swap shop on Wednesday afternoons at MUI.
Somebody told me that the latest update adds to number 14, scratch butts and put in umbilical mucus. Apparently, there is a medical... Have you ever seen Lifetime channel... Well, it's channel 49 in Tampa Cable. They have a thing called Physicians Daily Update. You ever seen this show?
Well, you mean on Sunday?
No, it's on, I don't know. Sometimes they have...
Oh, on Sunday. As a matter of fact, on Sunday once I just was flipping through the channels and there was a gynecological show on that I could hardly believe.
That's the one I'm talking about.
I mean, I never saw things like that in the dirty movies when I went there as a kid. It was awful.
When I first got cable, I was flipping...
You want to talk about warts?
I was flipping through... You know what venereal warts are called, by the way?
What, venereal warts?
No, they're called... Give me a minute, I'll think of it anyway.
Wait a second, let me get my hand over by the button here, what?
Cuminatum something. Anyway, there I was one Saturday flipping through the stations. Atlanta Braves, Frugal Gourmet. Get out your card. So anyway, I looked, and there was a guy, the show was intrauterine sonograms. The man
that's one of my favorites.
The man looked like...
Can't wait for it to go into summer reruns.
The man, and I won't let you talk. Go ahead.
That's okay. Go ahead, Lionel.
So, anyway, the doctor had his arm buried in. It looked like...
Whoa.
When they put the implant in... So anyway, I'm going through this, and I said, wait a minute. I got to call somebody. Somebody has to see this. The taper, I couldn't get the tape out in time. So this occurred to me. What if we'd have had soft music and a guy named Ace with a beret in a French accent saying, we're now going to, the same thing, but put, overdub, cheap music... It's a porno movie. So I'm thinking,
Rocky, is this you? Rocky, is this you again?
That's the second time somebody said that. And I don't know who this Rocky guy... Oh,
what do you mean the second time somebody said it? Gonzalez has done 4 shows on it.
Well, poor Paul. He gets lonely sometimes. But, this is, you know who told me this? Carolyn.
Paul wouldn't get lonely if you would call him.
Carolyn told me that she thought I was him, too. So
well, you know, Carolyn, she's, prone to drink the sacramental wine from time to time. And
she's a marvelous person.
Yes, she is a marvelous person. I appreciate that.
She's very wise. A lot wiser than the average caller you get.
Well, she is very wise. She got out of the business.
People who have... She didn't want to get into the business.
I said she got out of the business. That's what makes her wise.
But there's nothing to get out of. You know what I mean? It's like if I want to go into brain surgery tomorrow, so what? I mean, I never really got into it.
What do you mean there's nothing to get out of? I mean, once you get used to doing this, you're ruined for life. What can you go possibly do? Where else in the world can you talk like I did to an 11-year-old kid and get away with it?
Intercourse, Pennsylvania. Tuesdays. It's true.
Yes, but it's far away. It's just down the road from Paradise.
And down the road from Blue Balls. Can you imagine some guy standing on the side of a road with a placard that says intercourse with a question mark? I mean, that's what I want to get into. And if you don't make intercourse, you go to Blue Balls. Don't collect money.
Oh, here we go.
Bob, we could work out a hell of a shtick together, you know that?
I'd rather not.
Oh, come on, you need me.
Well, as a matter of fact, there was an ad in broadcasting today. WMCA in New York is looking for a 2-man morning talk show team.
What do you think?
Hey, I think it should be good for at least $250,000.
You could sell your Archie comic book collection, get enough money, lose a few stone, and you and I take off up there. Every time I call, the Sirio goes crazy. Poor guy's been doing traffic too long.
Well, he has.
That is when I call. You people love me. I make seriously. I call out of pity. I could be doing a lot of things.
Your calls are very pitiful.
Get out. Get out. You know you don't mean that. This is just verbal bric-a-brac.
I mean, come on, Lionel, give me a break. If I had a full board of calls, do you think I'd be sitting here talking to you?
You know why? This is the most challenging call you ever get.
Oh, give me a break.
Sure, I can't.
Friend and brain lady, maybe, but you?
A prepubescent kid whose voice is changing, and you attack him? Big man. And then you say, put your mother on, I can beat up your mother. Oh, I want you on the front line when we take Grenada again. Bring in Lassiter for the kids.
The kill.
Huh?
The kill. Bring in Lassiter for the kill.
Sure, you could lay on top of them. And they could, and by the time you got up, with the amount of force, they'd be converted into diamonds. I'm kidding. We all kid about your weight. You know why? You're huge.
Nobody kids about my weight.
You're huge.
I don't kid about my weight.
How much do you weigh?
About 115.
Your left leg weighs.
115.
Whatever weighs that. Come on. Have you ever tried stapling tummy tucks?
I beg your pardon.
I heard that you're a bulimic, but you don't purge.
That's true.
It's incredible. How much do you eat all day? I mean, you must start, 6 o'clock in the morning?
Well, I normally start out with about 12 of eggs, 1.5 pounds of bacon, and a tube of sausage.
I know what you do with the tube of sausage.
Well, that's besides the point.
Show.
That truly is. After 10 o'clock. We can't talk about that before 10 o'clock.
Your wife helps support your food bill? Is that why you got married?
Well, that's why she works. That's true. We spend about $400 a week at the grocery store.
On Twinkies?
No, spam. I'm addicted to spam.
You and Robert Palmer.
I can tell you things about spam like you wouldn't
Robert
believe.
Palmer first come out with Addicted to Spam, and then they said, no, Bob, it won't work.
Did you know that 3.6 cans of spam luncheon meat are consumed every second of every day in this country? That works out to 216 cans a minute, 12,960 cans an hour.
That's correct. And did you know that
Did you realize that the total amount of money spent on canned luncheon meat, i.e. spam, is $175 million a year?
Bob, did you know that every 30 seconds a woman is attacked in this country, and at the end of the day she's exhausted?
Oh, give me a break, Lionel. I mean, at least I'm using original material.
What?
I heard you use that with Levine.
You ought to do that.
Last time I heard that, I thought I was going to laugh so hard I'd kick the slats out of my cradle. Give me a break, Lionel.
Didn't Bud, by the way, where did he get the name Bud?
I don't know where he got the name Bud.
Aren't you interested?
What do you mean? No, I'm not interested in how he got his name.
And when they call Secord Dick...
break.
Anyway, Bob, this is going nowhere. This is going to hell in a handbasket. When's Yoki leaving?
Going to the same place Friday.
Giving him a party or anything, or what?
I doubt it very much.
You guys are cheap.
We didn't give him a party when he got here. Why should we give him one when he goes?
Who's going to take over?
Oh, that's a secret.
Tim Coles.
Well, it's not a secret anymore.
Huh?
It's not a secret anymore. Yep,
Sure,
Tim
that's why
Coles.
they moved them out on the weekends. They moved them out on the weekend, which was a very smart thing for you to do, Yoke. If you had anything to do with that, it was your one brief moment with lucidity. Because your weekend shows stink.
Tim Coles has taken over.
But Coles is great.
Well, I'm glad you like him. Lionel, hey, I got to move along, but I thank you ever so much for the call.
I love you, Bob.
You too there, Lionel.
Hey, call me about the MCA deal. Let's have lunch.
Okay.
Do something.
All right.
See you at church, babe.
Bye-bye, Lionel. Let's save that one for the next hour. Okay. Sure, we'll take a break. What the hey?
Motorcraft. This wasn't crucified. Hardened criminals wouldn't be able to sit in jail and try to get some kind of a satisfaction by asking for Jesus for forgiveness.
No, the answer is there was no choice but for Jesus to be crucified because that was part of God's plan.
Okay, yeah. And,
so he had to be crucified.
Okay, and then on one of those questions on gun control, are you in favor of handgun control?
Have you ever listened to this program before?
Yeah, I have.
That's kind of a dumb question.
I'm sorry, I guess I didn't catch it. You are in favor of gun control then?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right, well, the thing that I have against that is, I don't believe in guns. I was raised around guns and everything, and I don't have a gun, and wouldn't want one unless, I felt I was in danger of my life. But I feel that if you outlawed handguns for criminals, then what it would do, for, anyone, it would put the guns in the hands of the criminals.
My, that's a brilliant. Did you think of that one all by yourself?
But, well, this is an obvious answer to the question,
Well, you see, the problem is it's not criminals who are killing us.
Okay.
It's ourselves.
Well,
see, it's Mom and it's Dad and it's Uncle Harry and it's the kids. They're the ones who are killing us.
Okay, but there would be more crime if you eliminated that.
No. It just kind of went right over your head, didn't it? Oh, what a night, what an hour. Hi, Tampa. You're on the air at WPLP.
Hi, Bob.
Hi.
How you doing?
Oh, just...
You talked the other night, specifically last night, about it was gun control, and I guess I took it as handguns.
That's right.
Right. There's one thing that I think that everybody overlooked, because judgment by way of the callers, and that's if they did go, in which they could never, I don't think they could ever do, there's no way, the American people, that you're going to take something out of their house. The man, they could not own a gun no more. We're not talking rifles, handguns. You would live to see retirement and stick to Lyle. You might still even, get a little more.
I don't know what the hell you're talking about.
Oh, I know. You don't know much when it's your own opinion. That's the way it is, buddy.
Now, wait a second. Let me go back here to these 12 helpful hints. I think he ignored one of them. Let's see. Okay. No. If you find yourself thinking no. Okay. Practice safe. No. Practice breathing deeply. Great your fear. Focus on. Oh, okay. Here was point number 10 that he didn't get. Point number 10. Focus on something other than your fears. Make a checklist of the points you want to get across. Well, he obviously didn't do that. Anyway, we're coming up on the end of this hour. CBS News coming your way. I tell you, just all kinds of gossip and scandal. We still have 2 more open hours following that. Please, whatever you do, don't venture very far.
They'll be talking about him tomorrow morning in trailer court recreation halls all over Tampa Bay. But you can listen to him live tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, may I present Bob Lassiter.
after the hour of 9 o'clock. Welcome back. Hour number 2 on a Tuesday evening, May the 12th, 1987. Did I call it or did I call it? I mean, if you were with me at the top of the 8 o'clock hour, I told you that the first call always sets the tone. And that first call really set the tone for that hour, didn't it? Well, guess what? In the second hour, the first call of the second hour always sets the tone for the hour. It's just an amazing thing, but had you been in this business as long as I have, you would understand these things, and I know that you haven't, so that's why I help you out from time to time with these little helpful hints. Okay? So we will take our first call in the second hour just momentarily. In the meanwhile, I'll give you the telephone numbers. Notice he's pumping the phones again. Hillsborough, 224-0057. That's Hillsborough, 224-0057. In Pinellas, 393-0057. That's 393-operator 57. Please, in Pinellas, remember, you have to either dial or punch operator 2 consecutive times. You know, one extra long time does not count as 2 operators. That is, operator, if you're dialing, you go all the way around, you take your little finger out and let it go. Then all the way around again, take your little finger out, then you proceed on to the 5 and the 7. If you have a touch tone, you will want to punch operator twice. You'll get, beep, finger off, beep, finger off. And that way you will be connected to the show immediately. Rocky, hi, you're on the air. Rocky, what is this, old, home week or something? Lionel and you?
No,
Brandon Brain Lady ought to be calling momentarily.
I called because something sparked my interest.
Well, what is that, Rocky?
All this talk about Carolyn Dungus.
All this talk? Her name was mentioned once by Lionel.
That's enough.
Oh.
What we're dealing with here, maybe I shouldn't say. Maybe I shouldn't talk about her because she's not here to defend herself.
Uh-huh. So that's never stopped you from talking about people before, Rocky.
Well, I'll talk about her if it's okay.
Well, sure, Rocky.
Well, I think the woman...
America.
She used to be a host...
Now, if this was Russia, you couldn't talk about Carolyn.
She used to be a host on your show.
No, not on my show, she didn't. I've always been a host on the Bob Lassiter Show.
On WPLP.
Well, perhaps.
I believe she's a card-carrying communist.
You do?
Yes, I do. I just wanted to make that point, and something else, a point I wanted to make, is about all the pandemonium on the airways, all the stifleness, all the demols and demise of this garbage barge from New York. You know, I heard on your news break that they're going to make a chocolate United States of America. And I was just wondering if they put any nuts in it, whether they're going to put them in California or not. And I think the reason the garbage barge is here is because...
the white lightning again.
The reason I think that garbage barge is here, I'm serious, that the people...
It's not here, Rocky. Last I heard, it was north of Jacksonville.
The people wanted it in the state of Florida because there's so many Yankees down here that they felt homesick. So they wanted to bring a big ton of garbage down here, and they was hoping they would spread it all through their streets.
Oh, pshaw, Rocky. Pshaw. There's plenty of garbage here.
Well, not like there's up in New York. And all the kids would be running around with...
Yeah, but at least the garbage in New York is all packed neatly into plastic bags.
No.
That's more than I can say for a lot of the garbage around here.
That's because you got all these northern people walking around with these little pokes. You know, you talk about them squeezing vegetables and stuff. They're the same ones that go in the alleys up at night with flashlights, ripping open
Rocky,
garbage bags.
Rocky, hold on. What is that in the background?
Dixie. Hey, I bought you a present.
You did?
Yeah.
What did you get me, Rocky?
I got you a Confederate flag.
A Confederate flag. Should I hold my breath like I did waiting for the Klan suit?
Well, do you want it or not?
Well, sure, Rocky.
It's 3x5.
3x5, well, yeah, that would be nice.
Guess where I got it?
I guess at the Confederate flag store, Rocky. I don't know.
Forsyth County, Cummings, Georgia.
Son of a gun. We're all the way from Forsyth County?
I got Forsyth County.
Son of a gun.
I said to myself, I got them up there in a hardware store. You can buy a rifle up there in a hardware store.
Uh-huh.
And they had the Confederate flags up on the hardware store.
Yeah, but they don't have talk radio like this in Forsyth County.
No, they don't. They should have, though. You know,
the problem is nobody would realize when the kooks called up there. That's why they don't have it.
No, that's not why they don't have it up there. They don't have any controversy.
Being awfully political tonight, Rocky.
I mean, there ain't none of them up there. I mean, I'll tell you that there's such a love in the atmosphere, and people are so proud. And I tell you, you just drive down the street down there and roll your windows down and just wave, and people wave. It's just a beautiful atmosphere. And you go by the school.
What do you wave? Your hood or something?
All the kids are white, and I tell you, it's just amazing.
Sounds like heaven to me, Rocky.
So overjoyed. There's still hope. I recommend anybody taking a trip that you go to Forsyth County.
Oh, it's very high on our list of places to go.
And
it's right after Paris.
Well, I don't think it'll be one of the top spots. I mean, people would rather go to the French Riviera or Paris.
Oh, excuse me, it's not after Paris. It's after Bug Tussle. Then we want to go to Forsyth County.
London, England, or somewhere like that. You know, I think it's real funny. You're talking about how you like Gatlinburg, Tennessee, and one of my top men is up there.
No, I said I thought Gatlinburg, Tennessee was one of the crudest, most disgusting tourist traps I had ever seen in my life. What is around Gatlinburg is delightful.
That's
but Gatlinburg itself is obscene.
This is what's beautiful about it, Mr. Lassiter.
What is beautiful about it is the obscenity of the tourist trap?
No, the countryside.
Oh.
The way people live. The courteous people. People up there will speak to you. You know, these people down here are hateful.
People down here don't speak to you, Rocky?
Not like they do up in what you call Redneck City.
My God, perhaps I've been too harsh on this community. Tell me more.
Well, you know, when I walk down the street up there, the kids all gather around, and women folk all gather around.
Well, they're more used to seeing men walk around up there in, dresses.
Well, you can walk around up there with a gun and nobody will say
most of the people down here, when they see a guy walking down the street with a dress on, even if it is white, think he's a little, well,
Well, we don't wear dresses.
Well, I know that you don't call them dresses, but, a lot of the people down here think they're dresses.
Yeah, a lot of the northern people
look like,
do.
Formal. Especially at this time of the year, they think they're going to this,
I've heard a lot of the
prom.
Jews. Yeah, I've heard a lot of the Jews say that they were dresses.
Well, they are pretty snappy dressers. They should know.
They're being real hard on these old German people now. You know that?
Oh, really?
I believe so. That was a horrible disease they had back in there. I just wonder if that was some kind of form of AIDS.
Nazism?
No. Nationalism.
Uh-huh.
You talk about pandemonium on the air. I've got my hat on.
When was the last time I talked about pandemonium?
I've got my hat on, Mr. Lassiter. I got my sunglasses on.
Whoa, wait a second, Rocky. A fine, proper Southern gentleman would not be indoors with his hat on. A redneck would be, but a fine, proper Southern gentleman wouldn't be.
This is a special hat. I bought me a Confederate cap.
What is it, a burpee seed cap or something?
No, I bought me a Confederate cap up there, too.
A Confederate cap?
Yes, sir. I'm not going to part with this.
Would you like to buy some Confederate bonds?
No. I don't need any of them. Do you want this flag?
Sure, Rocky.
Well, I'll send it to you.
Well, I would appreciate it very much.
Now, I'm not going to send it to you till probably next Monday.
Next Monday? Why not till next Monday?
Well, I also got you a badge.
A badge?
Yeah, you're in good standing with the KKK.
Son of a gun.
Yes, sir. I had a little meeting about you.
You did?
Sure did.
Oh my goodness! What was
being
the outcome of the
about in Forsyth County
meeting?
What was it about?
Yes.
Well, you see, I recorded you and David Duke.
Uh-huh.
And Mr. Butler and some associates of mine were discussing the interview with you and Mr. Duke.
Well, they really got off on the way I ripped him to shreds, huh?
I don't think you ripped him to shreds. I think you used a lot of puns and a lot of escapism. You used a lot of escapism, and that wasn't my idea. That was Mr. Jenkins' idea. Mr. Jenkins told me that he listened to the tape about 4 times, and we all listened to it. And we noticed that when it was getting hot and heavy, you started talking about religion, a subject that you're an expert on.
Uh-huh.
And Mr. Duke was trying to make a point about this black and white issue. And then you bring in religion.
No, Mr. Duke was trying to lie through his teeth, as I recall, during most of that interview concerning what affirmative action was.
Now, Mr. Duke had the right idea. You have to give the man time. You have to be calm, cool, and collected. Let the man express his views. David Duke is a real nice gentleman. He's one of the nicest people you'd ever meet. He's a great man. I would like to see a man of his caliber run for presidency, but I know it would be impossible with our communists and liberals and our undesirables that would not even consider voting for him or even representing a genius in this manner. This man is a genius, political genius. He's an activist. He's not a racist. He doesn't hate anybody. And, you know, a lot of people had the impression that this man was a bigot, a person who hated people. But, you know, David Duke is a man that is filled with joy and love and
Well, he certainly filled my night with joy. Rocky, I have somebody on the line that would like to talk to you.
Can I guess?
Sure.
Is it Carolyn?
No.
Lionel?
No.
David Fowler?
No.
Tim Cole?
Caller, are you there? Clearwater, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Okay, go ahead, Clearwater.
Wait.
Mr. Rocky?
Wait a minute. This is a lady that just bought 100 acres, right?
No, honey, I don't even own 1 acre.
Let's see, what's her name? Loretta. This is not Loretta.
No,
you don't
this is
sound
not
like
Loretta.
You don't sound like Loretta.
No. I want to tell you something to make your day. You know, it has been a time that I hated Ku Klux. But I want to tell you tonight, brother, that I love you.
I love you, too.
Because you is my brother.
You're my sister.
And then, you know what?
I'm not a racist.
You know what?
What's that?
There's a lot of sneaking went on during slavery time. And you know, you just might be black. Who knows?
Black? Me, black?
My God.
Yeah. You ever thought about that?
Well, don't tell anybody, but I look a lot like,
I won't tell a soul.
Step and fetch it,
But
I
it
hope.
look a lot like...
A whole lot of sneaking going on.
I look a lot like Billy D. Williams.
You do?
But then a lot of people say I look a lot like, what's the man's name?
Step and fetch it.
No, not Step and Fetch It. It was a shoe shine boy. What was his name, Tom? No, I'm not black.
I don't know. You might know, but you know what? If I was like I used to be, I used to say bad things about Ku Klux. And if I was like I used to be,
that's because you realize
you should be on that barge going back to New York.
That's because you realize, lady.
Ain't that funny?
No, let me explain something. Don't hang up.
Oh, yes, it is.
Don't hang up now.
See, I'm not like I used to be.
Don't hang up now.
No, I'm not going to hang up.
I want to tell you something now. Listen very closely.
Uh-huh.
I'm not a racist. I'm a segregationist.
Well, what's the difference?
A racist is a person who singles out his own group within himself and opposes another group of people.
Uh-huh.
In other words, he would say he would hate someone or deprive someone of their rights or citizenship. I'm not that way, and neither is the Ku Klux Klan.
Oh, they are not?
No.
Well, honey, let me tell you something, child. I was born and raised in a town that was full of Ku Klux Klan.
There's a few apples in every basket.
Jacksonville, Florida.
There's a few bad apples
Honey,
in every basket.
it was full of Ku Klux Klans. And they used to march. Really?
Hey, do you know Mr. Hastings up in Jacksonville?
Hastings?
Yeah. He was a Grand Dragon in Jacksonville.
No, I don't know that, brother. But you know what?
How come all you guys got really silly titles? You know, why not like, you know, Major or Boss or, you know, like Grand Dragon or, you know, all those silly names.
Well,
kind of silly names, are they, Rocky?
Their tails come out at 12 o'clock.
What comes out at 12?
Great
They
Moolah.
come out and drag like dragons.
Now, you've got it all wrong, lady. You've got the wrong impression. I can tell you've got an attitude problem.
Oh, come on, Rocky. Anybody that likes to walk down the street in a satin dress. This is a little swish.
I wouldn't think about having an attitude with you.
Well, you shouldn't. That's because you know I've done more for you than anybody.
You have never did nothing for me, honey.
We've done more for you than the NAACP has ever done.
You know, he's got a point there.
You know what you did for me?
Yes, I do.
Not me and
We give you an opportunity to progress.
have burned crosses on our lawn.
We took you from a
You
country.
have lynched.
We have took you from a country that was backward.
You are getting ready right now for a full-scale war.
Now, wait a minute now. No.
Why?
Wait a minute now. Let me explain what we've done. If it was not for the white man, you'd still be in Africa jumping around.
Happy is a lamb.
Heads off and shrinking.
Happy.
Oh, would you be happy?
Happy as a lamb.
You would be?
Mm-hmm.
When you going back?
How fat is you?
When you going back?
Is you good and fat?
When you going back?
When I'm going back?
Yeah, when you going back to Africa?
I didn't ask to come. And, baby, I'm here to stay.
I didn't ask to come here, but I'm here.
And I'll fight to stay. And we ready for you, Klux and Klan.
You better get ready for the Russians.
Anytime you get ready. You know what?
Hey, Russians don't like blacks.
You wouldn't be a drop in the bucket.
Russians don't like blacks.
Well, I don't like people that don't like God and don't believe in God. I don't like them, but I love them. See, I told you when I called up that I love you.
Well, gee, you've made some bad personal attacks on me. Gee, I'm kind of shocked here, lady.
No, I haven't.
Oh,
you are my brother. I wouldn't want to fight you, and I wouldn't want you to fight me. But I'm going to stay in America because I didn't ask to come here.
That's fine. What you should do is you should stay on your side of the fence. And
I don't have no side. When it's war, the black person got no side. They fight. And if we can fight for this country, we can stay here, and we are here to stay.
You're going to fight by
all the blacks?
You're going to fight by burning.
All the Jews? Can you kill all the Italians? Can you kill all the Spanish? Man, you're fighting a lose.
What's wrong with Italians?
You is dumb.
What have you got against Italians?
Stupid. You got the brain of a baboon.
What have you got against Italians?
I say, can y'all beat all of them?
We don't have to. They're going to do it for us.
I say, can you beat the Indians? Can you beat the Mexicans? Can you beat the Spanish people? Can you beat the Cubans?
Oh, son of a gun, as they fade off into the sunset. What an exciting call. We're going to move on to other things here at the radio station, so I'll just take a little break and we'll be back. What a night, isn't it? I told you it would be.
Did you hear? Mike Hammer's been kidnapped.
Kidnapped?
Be a big television.
Minutes after the hour of 9 o'clock. Hey, if you think this is something, wait till tomorrow night. Oh, they all come out tomorrow night. 28 minutes. Well, I've already said that. 20 minutes after 9. Hillsborough 224-0057. Pinellas 393-0057. It's just such a joy to do talk radio in this town. I love it. I can't wait to see what the next call brings. I'll bet you're kind of excited and wondering about that too, aren't you? Apollo Beach. Hi, you're on the air at WPLP. Hello, Apollo Beach.
Hey, how you doing?
Ah, fine. Glad you could join us tonight.
Mr. Lester, I listen to you quite often. Maybe you can help me out here.
Mm-hmm.
I come home from work today, and I got a damn big old billboard on my curb here in the front of my house.
Mm-hmm. Seems to be an epidemic. This is the second call I've had about that tonight. Yes?
Hey, I tell you, I spend a lot of money in my yard trying to keep it up. It's only a curb, ain't much, but, I edge it and sweep it. Now I got this big old billboard sitting there.
Uh-huh.
And, I was just wondering if you heard anything about this curb connection?
Gee, no, I haven't. It's news to me.
Well, it's news to me, too. Just all of a sudden, they come home and all this work's done.
Uh-huh.
And, we have rights, and I feel that it's been violated pretty bad.
Okay.
Is there anything that y'all know about it or can do about it, or
Well, there's nothing I can do about it, but there is something you can do.
What's that?
You can take it down.
All right. It's painted. It's painted on there, man.
Well, you could paint over it.
Huh? Paint over it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we
You could do that, too.
Yeah. I tell you, it's just a damn mess. I can't believe that somebody come around here and do something like that without your permission or anything else.
Well, it's a wild world we live in, isn't it? I tell you, if it's not something, it's something else.
Yeah. Well, I'm just scared maybe somebody will come by tomorrow and paint my car and then come up wanting the money for it.
It could well be. It could well be. That could be next.
Yeah. All right, well, if you hear anything about it or anything, I'll keep listening.
Okay.
All right, I appreciate your time.
All right.
All right, thank you.
Okay. Only in Tampa Bay, only in Tampa Bay. Hi, Tampa, you're on the air, WPL. Whoops, Tampa couldn't wait. Dunedin, your turn at WPLP.
Hello?
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
This is Jim in Dunedin.
Well, hi there, Jim. This is Bob in Pinellas Park.
Right. My question tonight is, why or do you know why it takes so much for the U.S. Department of Labor to regulate small businesses, you know, the mom-and-pop type operations that are throughout the surrounding cities around here?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, my wife's a waitress, and she's worked for several of them. And,
What, for several departments of labor?
No, several restaurants.
Oh, several restaurants, uh-huh.
Yeah. And she's had various number of different experiences with only maybe 2 or 3.
I've had a number of experiences and have never worked as a waitress.
Really?
Really?
I mean, bad working conditions.
Well, that too.
Yeah.
But we don't talk about those.
You don't?
No.
Okay, well, I was just wondering why a restaurant of any kind has to gross $365,000 a year before the U.S. Labor Board will step in and say, hey, this is what your employees are deserving, this, that, and so forth, and why they don't in any other case.
Well, it's an arbitrary figure that they set.
Yeah.
It used to be $250,000, but with inflation they shot it up to 365.
Right. Well, anyhow, I've called several places, and on a number of different occasions, you know, not just, I like to be real, what's the word? Armed with ways to solve a situation when something gets out of hand, so I usually do my homework to figure out. Do you have any other suggestions? And what should you say to an employer in a small restaurant type thing to figure out if they're I don't know if I can say that or not, but anyhow, they'll work a person long enough, just 1 or 2, 3 days, short enough, before they have to turn in withholding on them, and they simply fire them and then never return the money into the government for taxes or for withholding. That's the way it looks. Like an assembly line of employees.
Well, I just don't know what to tell you.
Do you have any opinion?
No.
No?
No, afraid not.
Well, okay, well, maybe somebody out there knows a way to stop it.
Hey, that's an idea, and maybe they'll call in.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, I'll even give out the phone numbers. Hillsborough, 224-0057. Pinellas, 393-0057. See, why don't you people believe me? I told you that the first phone call in each hour sets the tone for the hour. Why don't you people believe me? I know what I'm talking about.
The phone numbers that put you on the air at
you would like to do business with. Then listen very carefully. I'll tell you who it was. Sunshine, Termite, and Pest Control. .38 the time. Oh, what an evening. I tell you, what an evening, isn't it? Newport Richie. Hi, you're on the air at WPLP.
How you doing, Mad Dog?
Well, pussycat, if it isn't you.
Yes, it is I. I didn't think your program, the way it's going, would be complete unless you got a call from a card-carrying commie who...
Well, it is Old Home Week here at the radio station. It is Old Home Week here at the radio station.
You bet. I'm enjoying it thoroughly, but I kind of got the impression it was my night in the barrel. That wasn't preordained, was it?
I don't know. Are you drinking this, the Sacramento wine again, Carolyn?
No, indeedy.
Then what are you doing in the barrel?
That's a very nice pun. You are wrong, and so is Rocky, and I thought I'd call and straighten you two guys out.
I'm wrong?
Yes, because I'm a Southern Baptist, and in the Southern Baptist faith, we don't cotton to drinking wine. With the sacraments, we drink grape juice.
Well, that is a good point you brought up
Is that
there.
a good point?
Yes, it is.
Okay, and secondly, for dear old Rocky, he can take his Confederate flag and stick it where the sun don't shine.
Whoa.
You ought to understand that.
Whoa.
That's what you call mountain talk.
My goodness.
You know how Rocky's always talking about the coat of the hills?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I was born in the hills.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a real hillbilly, born in Hazard, Kentucky. And this might break Rocky's heart, but I think that Rocky is probably the worst influence on my country and my society of any possible group or person in this land. I despise what he stands for. I'm serious, and I think he really believes everything he says. You talk about brain damaged snowbirds a lot?
Mm-hmm. Yes, I do. I do.
Mm-hmm. Well, when it comes to being brain
Do
damaged,
that so I'll get high ratings.
Yeah, Rocky takes first prize in the brain damage department. And you know what? Your black collar might be right. One of the reasons he may be so angry and want to be a segregationist is he may be concerned that he does have some black blood in him. Us Southerners have to be careful about that.
Well, I thank you, Carolyn.
You're very welcome. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. There are two lines open. They're both in Pinellas, 393-0057. And if you hurry, you can get in on one of them. 393-0057. Pinellas Park, hi, you're on the air at WPLP.
Yes, hi there.
Hi.
I just was careless. I've been listening to your show every now and then, and I've been employed with United Parcel Service, UPS,
and
the good old brown trucks guys. And I had an injury last May 20th. I got injury. Had a lady rear it in my UPS truck and put me in the hospital. I messed my neck up, my shoulder, my lower back. I had surgery done.
Mm-hmm.
And, I just was curious out there is what kind of rights or would you have any idea on that I have with this company? Workman Comp, I made $33,000 a year with the company. And
well, if you've been injured in an accident or a work-related incident, you may be entitled to money damages.
Well, see, that's the thing I got. But see, the thing is, UPS itself, I have attorney, okay, and my attorney have wrote them letters and stuff, and the company will not answer them back. I get workman comp check. I get, the top $315 a week from workman comp.
Mm-hmm.
But, I'm losing like $250 a week. And, the thing is this company just, I don't know, I've been an excellent driver for them, and I'm really disappointed in the company.
Mm-hmm.
UPS is I was like one of the persons that had brown blood, and the company's treating me real bad on part of don't want to do anything. I want to get another job and go to work, and get my life on. They won't make a decision. They won't let me come back to work. Okay, let me make it short. December 1st, my doctor released me back to work to UPS since my surgery.
Uh-huh.
I was in my uniform, showed up to work. The company refused me work. They said, you can't because you are not 100% well. The doctor said I never will be anymore. I have a restriction on heavy lifting, bending, and stuff. Okay? I have practically done everything but got down my hands and knees and begged the company to, hey, put me back on to work. The company will not terminate me, let me go, and the company will not give my job back. And they made an offer to me I could go to work for half the money I'm making and lose my seniority.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been 7 years there, and I make $15 an hour, and they want me to go to work for $8 an hour and knock out all my seniority with the company. And I don't know, I'm just as scared. I've been listening to your show, and I just wonder, what do you think I should do? Who else should I go? But I got an attorney, but they won't answer to my attorney. You know if the law of the state would help you any?
Well, I don't know of any law that insists upon politeness. Normally what you do is you sue them.
Right. Well, we do. We have a gigantic lawsuit against them, but they don't expunge them the letters.
Well, if you have a lawsuit against them, and if you have filed a lawsuit against them, and they fail to answer within 3 weeks, then they lose the lawsuit by default. So obviously, your attorneys have not filed a formal lawsuit against them. Simply threatening doesn't cut it. You actually have to file the suit in court. And if you file the suit in court, then they must respond, or they lose by default.
I see. Okay. Then I need to get back to my attorney on that, because I understand from him he filed for the lawsuit, just that they have not responded back to the letters. Workman Comp is offered to settle with us. You know, Workman Comp, because we have a suit against Workman Comp and against UPS.
Mm-hmm.
Because UPS is a non-insurance company, and they insurance themselves. And, I'm suing them for the injury I sustained, plus my future that I would have as a company, because 10 years you can start collecting your benefits, and I got 7 already in the company.
Yeah, I believe you mentioned that.
And, it's just, I don't know, I'm really disappointed in the company. You know, they try to make it such a good name, and they have been, but they treat the employees so bad. And, I'm really disappointed in it real bad, and I just need to talk to somebody about it.
Well, I'm glad you called us. I thank you ever so much.
Thank you.
Okay, that's the kind of stuff that makes talk radio so exciting. Just never know what's going to be on the other end of the phone when you pick it up. 2 lines open. Again, they're both in Pinellas. We've done well out of Pinellas tonight. Let me give you those phone numbers. 393-0057, 393-0057. Countryside, welcome to WPLP.
Hello there.
Hi.
This Rocky guy, where do you pick him up?
I don't pick up men, sir.
Yeah, I understand.
I don't pick up women anymore either. I'm married now.
Oh, too bad. But where does this guy get off insulting another race of human beings when it doesn't really matter whether they're black, white, yellow, or purple, as long as they're good human beings?
Mm-hmm.
He's just way out there. And
no, he calls from St. Petersburg.
Yep, that's way out there. Well, at least he's way out there. St. Petersburg.
Depends on your point of view or neighborhood, as the case may be.
That's true.
I've never thought of St. Petersburg as being way out.
Well, it's way out.
Far out, but not way out.
Yeah. And, what is the Klan? The Klan is a terrorist organization. They terrorize people.
Mm-hmm.
And, is that the American way to terrorize people?
You're asking me?
Well, I'm basically asking Rocky.
Oh.
Of course, I hope he's listening.
Well, Rocky always listens.
And that's basically all I have to say tonight.
Okay. Thank you.
You're first on your...
9:50 the time. What great calls tonight. Remember when the show used to get good calls? Tampa, you're on the air at WPLP.
Hello, Bob.
Hi.
Hi. I'd like to know why they call you Mad Dog.
Why do they call me Mad Dog?
Yeah.
Well, about 5 or 6 months ago, I guess now, a woman called up one night, and all she did was scream into the phone,
Mad Dog, you're a Mad Dog.
I kind of liked it, and so I adopted the name.
Well, I was listening yesterday, and there was this guy that called about the death penalty.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And he couldn't really answer the questions you were saying, but I got an answer for you. You're saying the death penalty is ineffective.
No, it's not what I said at all. I said it's not a deterrent.
It's not a deterrent, okay. Well, I say it is a deterrent.
Well, you can say it, but you can't prove it.
Well, let me give you an example that might prove it.
Well, let me give you an example that disproves it.
Okay, give me that example.
When the death penalty has been rescinded in this country and other countries, there was no marked effect in the murder rate. It remained the same.
Okay.
Your turn.
Okay. I'll tell you why it is a deterrent. It gives the citizens of the community a peace of mind when a guy like Ted Bundy or Billy Ferry shot, not electrocuted. We shouldn't waste energy on electrocution. Why should we clean up the mess? We should just shoot them. And then, when you have this happening, and more people realize that if they commit murder, they will be killed, I say it will deter.
Well, you can say it, but I will remind you one more time. These statistics, unfortunately, are against you. There is no major or minor, really, change in the murder rate when a country abolishes the death penalty.
Okay, so we're supposed to live our lives through statistics.
No, that's not what I said at all.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Oh, okay.
I mean, why can't we just try it?
Try what?
Try what I just said.
Because we have something in this country called a Constitution, and one of the provisions in that Constitution is that there will be no cruel and unusual punishment.
It's not cruel. When a criminal kills somebody, do they consider their constitutional rights?
That's besides the point. Unless you want to be as bad as the criminal. I mean, if you would like to live in a civilized society, then you will behave by the rules of civilized society.
That's right. I'm all for it.
Well, apparently you're not, because you're arguing against it.
No, but when a person commits a crime, such as murder, when they took a person's life unjustly, that doesn't mean that their life should not be taken unjustly also.
Well, have you ever heard that old expression, 2 wrongs don't make a right?
I think 2 wrongs do make a right.
Oh, I see.
Anyway, executing a person for murder, I don't think it's a wrong. It's the law enforcement and the judicial system of this country to enforce the laws and to provide a safe community for the citizens.
Well, that's what they try to do, but unfortunately the citizens won't provide them with sufficient jail space because the citizens are too damn cheap.
They don't need sufficient jail space.
Oh.
Let the criminals be overcrowded in there and let them kill off each other.
Oh, I see. You just don't like the Constitution at all, do you?
Oh, I like the Constitution.
Well, apparently you don't, or you're totally ignorant of it. I'm not sure which.
No, I think the Constitution has just been, it's been abused over the years. You can't say that the Constitution has been followed strictly by the book ever since it's been written.
Mm-hmm. This is a very enlightening conversation. Are you a high school graduate?
Yes.
College?
Yes.
You do have some college?
Yes.
How much? Oh, that's irrelevant. I'm sorry.
Graduate.
A graduate? Okay.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Florida school?
No.
Which state?
California.
California, okay.
And the guy that says the chocolate cake, he'd be surprised if they didn't put nuts in California.
Mm-hmm.
Every state has its nuts, including him.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Was that about it tonight?
I guess so, but I just like to say that Rocky...
But did you take Logic 101 when you were in school?
Logic 101?
Yeah,
what, this sounds illogical to you?
Did you take Logic 101 in school?
No.
I'm not surprised. St. Pete, you're on here, WPLP.
Yeah, Bob.
Yes.
I just want to put a plug in for Rocky. I don't only love him, I like him too.
Uh-huh.
And maybe he does have some black blood in him.
Mm-hmm.
But Caroline doesn't have any black blood because she's hiding in the hills of Newport, Michigan, wants to make sure she don't get any black in her.
Uh-huh.
So, I mean, Rocky is...
Is there anything else in your life that you think about except Carolyn? Anything at all?
She's a phony baloney, that's why. She's a phony baloney.
So you think about nothing, nothing else in your entire life except Carolyn?
She doesn't preach what she practices. She don't practice what she preaches.
Don't you have any friends? Do you have any friends?
Oh, yeah, I got a lot of friends.
Why don't you invite them over at night instead of sitting at home listening to the radio waiting for Carolyn to call?
I do.
Do you have any friends over tonight?
Oh, sure.
You have friends tonight? Well, have them holler, hello, Bob.
Oh, no, they wouldn't holler. They don't like...
You don't have any friends over tonight. You're fibbing. You're there all alone again.
No, I'm not here.
Don't your kids ever call you or come by or anything?
Oh, yes.
Are they there tonight, too?
No, not at this hour of the night. They're not here. No.
They kind of split early when they come by to visit.
No.
Make the visit as short as possible. Get the hell out of there in a hurry.
No, they don't. No, they don't.
Mm-hmm.
No.
How many friends do you have over tonight?
Oh, I had 3 or 4.
Oh, but they're not there now.
Well, what time is it? They go home, got to go to bed, and go to work.
Well, just a moment ago, you said they were there.
Well, they were here.
No. A moment ago, you said that they were there right now. I said, do you have any friends over there now? And you said yes. And I said, would you have them holler to me, hello, Bob? And you said they don't do that.
They gotta
you didn't say they aren't there.
Tomorrow. They got to go to work tomorrow. They work for a living.
Do you have a job?
Yes, I do.
You do?
Yes, I do.
What kind of work do you do?
Well, never mind what kind of work I do. Why don't
you want to tell? Why are you ashamed of what you do for a living? What do you scrub floors?
I'm ashamed what I do for a living.
I'd be ashamed if I scrubbed floors, too, but don't feel too bad about it.
Oh.
Well, everybody's got to do something.
You don't know what you'll be doing till you're done.
Well, that's an interesting way of phrasing it.
Do you have anything against people who scrub floors?
Nothing whatsoever. But I'm not the one that's ashamed of what I do for a living. Why won't you tell us what you do for a living?
I'm not ashamed, but I don't have to tell you what I do.
I know you don't have to tell me, but if you were proud of it, you'd tell me.
I don't want you to know what I do.
You're ashamed of it, aren't you?
No, I'm not ashamed.
You got a lousy job and you don't have any friends and your kids never come.
No.
So all you do is sit home and wait for Carol to call. What a miserable life you must lead.
Don't you wish you had my life?
No, I don't.
Oh, yes, you do.
Friendless, miserable job. Kids don't come to visit.
No.
You have air conditioning?
Yes, sir. It's on right now.
It is?
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Do you have a television?
Yes, I do.
Why don't you watch
them? 2 of them.
Then why don't you watch them?
Well, I watch
What's the matter? Can't you afford the electricity to watch the television?
I can afford it.
Well, then why don't you turn one of them on?
Well, I turn them on. I watch television.
What do you watch?
Well, I watch the news. In the morning, I turn the news on, the morning shows.
Mm-hmm.
And
watch
then
the soap
I turn
opera?
that off.
At what time?
Then I turn that off at 9 o'clock.
Uh-huh. What do you do at 9 o'clock?
Well, then I go to work.
Oh. You don't even leave the house until 9 o'clock.
And that's right. And then, when I come home in the evening, I watch the news again.
Mm-hmm.
And then I turn the news off and turn on my radio.
It sounds like an exciting life, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, I do listen to you.
Mm-hmm. Oops, my goodness. Well, I'm fresh out of time for this hour, but thank you ever so much for calling up and sharing your boring life with us.
PLP Morning News.
Stop the music, please. Stop the music, okay. It appears as though there has been a misunderstanding, a terrible misunderstanding. If you have your morning newspapers handy, will you please go and get them? I'll wait. All right. Now, if you have the St. Petersburg Times, please turn to page 2. That's the front section, section A, page 2. If you have the Clearwater Sun, turn to page 12A. That's the last page in section A. And if you have the Tampa Tribune, I believe that is, you will also find that on the last page of the first section, okay? Now, we have the weather in front of us. And you will notice in the St. Petersburg Times, it's all the way in the bottom right-hand corner. In the Clearwater Sun, it is right in the middle of the page, left-hand side. And on the Tampa Tribune, I believe it is also towards the bottom of the page. You will notice the moon schedule. I'm sorry, but the full moon is not until tomorrow night. It's tomorrow night that the moon is full, not tonight. So there is no need to continue with this. All right, start the music again, please. Glad I could clear that up for you.
present to you the scourge of the shuffleboard set, the man the Trailer Court Association would like to run out of town, Tampa Bay's top banana top, the monstrous Mad Dog Bob Lassiter.
Thank you very much. 8.5 minutes after the hour of 10 o'clock. Welcome back. Third, final hour for this fantastic Tuesday night, May the 12th, 1987. Now, some people are trying to jump the gun and, start the full moon show a day early, but I think we all have that cleared up now, don't we? Okay. So we can continue the program. There are two lines open. Strangely enough, they're both in Pinellas. 393-0057 will rectify that situation. That's 393-0057. Oh, the suspense is killing me. Let's go back to the phones. Hi, Dunedin. You're on the air at WPLP.
Yeah, how you doing?
Fine.
This is Jim. I called Dunedin before.
Uh-huh.
I was laying here listening to your extremist caller, and
you called once already tonight?
Yes.
Oh, you can't do that. No, just one night, Jim.
I'm a new listener. You're probably
well, new or old listener. It's just one night, Jim.
Okay. Well, while I'm in here, may I say something about the death penalty?
No. Tampa, you're on the air at WPLP.
Okay. Bob?
Yes.
I keep hearing this argument about the death penalty that it doesn't deter, which I know is true. Actually, nothing that seems much to deter crime except the absolute certainty that you're going to get it right now. And even that doesn't work for some. But there's another purpose. It's that I'm not in favor of wholesale executions, but there is a certain type of criminal who is such a public threat that the only safe thing to do with them is to permanently remove them. And to illustrate what I mean, they had a multiple killer, a sadistic killer, who got off on an insanity plea, was filed into a maximum security institution for the criminally insane. He was assigned a young, inexperienced psychiatric counselor who fell in love with him and was letting him visit her apartment. In other words, he was getting out of this maximum security institution on occasion. Ultimately, he murdered her, escaped, murdered another young woman, and among other things, he pulled out every one of her teeth with a plier. That's the kind of man I want executed, simply for safety. If they're dead, they don't kill anybody else. Believe me, Bob, I'm in connection with a victims group. These are the survivors of people who were killed. And they watch very closely, and this is not an isolated incident. Many of these multiple
It's not a common incident either, is it?
Huh?
It's not a common incident either, is it?
Well, I'm just saying that a lot of times they slip through the cracks on parole and they kill again. They escape and they kill again.
Well, they don't slip through the cracks on parole if you have the type of laws that don't allow them to slip through the cracks on parole.
This is the point. If they are executed, I'm not in favor, as I said, of wholesale execution. It's very, very necessary that the killer be a killer beyond any possible doubt. I go completely along with the Constitution. But if it's established, and there's no doubt, it's the one safe thing to do.
You mean like in the case of Mr. Green?
At least won't kill again.
You mean like in the case of Mr. Green, who was on death row for 10 years before they found out that he didn't belong there?
I know what you're saying. They had insufficient...
Well, let's face it, this country right now, let us face it, this country right now is lusting for blood, and you have absolutely no cause for concern about the death penalty being overturned at any time in the foreseeable future, not until we execute, maybe half a dozen innocent people, will this country come to its senses. So, I don't really see what the debate is. Why you people who lust for blood insist upon taking part in the debate is beyond me, because you have nothing to fear.
Lusting for blood.
I know, you just want to kill sick people.
No, I don't want to kill sick people.
Well, again, like I said, I really don't see what I said, would you please keep quiet while I talk?
Okay.
Like I said, I just don't understand what the problem is. You have no fear whatsoever of the death penalty being rescinded at any time in the foreseeable future. Not until we, clearly, fry maybe a half dozen innocent people. Then people like you will come to your senses and say, well, there must be a better way, and everybody will feel really bad about it. And, those innocent people that got, fried in the electric chair, well, such is life. Maybe their families will get $50,000 or something like that, and then we'll come to our senses. But in the meanwhile, there's really no sense in having a discussion.
I really wish, Bob, that you would look at the victim's side and...
Whoa. The victims have nothing to do with it.
Huh?
The victims have nothing to do with it, you see, because there's nothing that will bring back the people who were murdered, is there? So all you're asking for is retribution. All you're asking for is revenge. Get off my phone if you're going to talk while I'm talking. I'm just not into conversations like that. Just not into conversations like that at all. Yes, I hung up on you. You should now be able to turn up the radio, because I'm just not into talking over people. You know what I mean? And like I said, it is such a stupid conversation. Because the majority of people in this country want the death penalty. You got it. We're going to try to take it away from you. There's no serious movement whatsoever to take away your beloved death penalty. It is yours, baby. Ain't got nothing to fear. We're going to fry them left and right. And somewhere along the line, they will fry several innocent people. And then you'll get to really feeling bad about it. But to give me, the families, it doesn't bring back the person who was murdered. It doesn't do anything but give them revenge. And if you want a criminal justice system based upon revenge, well, hey, you got it. And if that makes you happy, then be happy. Goodness gracious, we've got so many other things we could talk about. Mercy. Tampa, you're on here at WPLP.
Yeah, Bob.
Yeah.
How about if we talk about good taste on the radio? That seems to be a topic that's current.
If you'd like, sure.
All right, well, how would you define the parameters of good taste on radio?
Well, there's no such definition. We're talking about a whole wide universe.
Well, what about, say, talk radio?
Well, again, you're talking about a very wide universe. Why don't you just zero in? I'm not into 20 questions. Not tonight, not any night. Just, get to your point.
Well, I was going to make a point because I haven't been listening very long. I've heard some shows, and I just wondered if it is good taste to demean people who have different viewpoints than you do. Because that's...
Well, they deserve demeaning. Yeah, it's good taste, right? It's good taste. Very popular, too.
Well, it seems as though, for example, the lady who called before the hour, whether you agree with her points or not, to try to degrade people by making statements like that and implying that they're doing all these things that could be held up to ridicule, it seems to be an unusual tactic.
Well, it's not an unusual tactic at all.
Well, or at least a legitimate...
I'm one of the very few people, I suppose I'm the only one in this market who uses it, but then the rest of the guys aren't good enough to do it.
Well, it seems
a special flair.
If you really believed in what you were saying, then the other viewpoint could be heard out. But
what other viewpoint? I didn't hear any viewpoint.
Viewpoints that are divergent from yours.
No, there wasn't any divergent viewpoint. That was a caller. You see, you don't even know what the hell you're talking about, who only calls after another caller calls to take cheap shots at her. That's the only time she ever participates in the show.
Well...
And you see, you don't know that, do you?
I'm a listener, so I don't know.
I see.
But it seems as though the times that I have heard...
Well, if you were listening tonight, then you know that she didn't even have a viewpoint. She had nothing to say except to take cheap, demeaning shots at another caller.
Well, this is exactly an example of what I was getting at is I have a divergent viewpoint from you, and you're interrupting me me that you're always
explaining to you.
Interrupting you.
I'm explaining to you what you're talking about because obviously you don't know.
Oh, no, I will know what I'm talking about, Bob.
Oh, really?
See, this is another example of comments you make to people who have viewpoints that differ from yours.
Well, if you don't like the show, you can turn it off.
Okay.
Oh, please. Oh, my God. Is he really going to turn it off? Oh, please, sir, I didn't mean it. Oh, please don't turn it off, sir. Please, sir.
Jerk. To join in the conversation, the number to call in Hillsborough County is 224-0057. In Pinellas County, 393-0057. And anywhere else in Florida, 1-800-334-0057.
Hi, everybody. This is Stan DeFreitas, Mr. Green Thumb. Join us at our new time, 4 to 6 p.m. every Saturday afternoon as we talk to you about your botanical buddies, about your lawns, your trees, everything is doing right and wrong in your Florida garden. Why gardening is different here in the Sunshine State. Join us every Saturday, 4 to 6, exclusively here on WPLP.
After the hour of 10 o'clock. Ruskin, you're on here, WPLP.
Oh, this isn't no cheap shot, I guarantee you. This woman, it's always, the only time she calls about Carolyn, shooting cheap shots at her, I recognized her voice. I know where she works. I was going down Nebraska Avenue yesterday afternoon. I stopped at a light. She come up to the car. I think she must be a recruiter for a circus because she started talking about if I could do a trick or something. I told her I was too old. I didn't do no tricks. But she must do what she's doing. She's probably recruiting for a circus.
Yeah, I guess so. That's what it would sound like to me, too.
Well, I'll tell you one thing.
On Nebraska?
Yeah, on Nebraska Avenue is where it was at.
Hey, you wouldn't think an awful lot of acrobats were driving up and down Nebraska, would you?
As old as I am, I just don't understand.
Well, I guess if you've been in the business long enough, you'd know where to look.
I don't know. Well, anyway, Carolyn is from Hazard County, Kentucky.
That's what she said.
There's no communist in Hazard County, Kentucky.
I wouldn't think so.
There isn't. Those people are coal miners, and the sheriff's license in Hazard, it's a fact. You can look it up in the Guinness Book of Records. The sheriff's license there is the same as a machine gunner in World War I.
Damn few communists in Newport Richie either. It's expensive for that. And they, tend to live in converted warehouses and things like that to save money.
Talking about obscenity, I was flipping the dial trying to get a good program on TV today, and I happened to tune in that hearings they're having, and there was some person on there, Bud McFarland, was talking about giving AIDS to the condoms, and I don't understand that. That's worse than Dr. Ruth. They ought to just put that stuff off the air. Did you listen to any of that?
Oh, yeah, I've listened to most of it.
Now, that's my opinion.
Okay.
Bye.
Okay, take care.
Okay.
St. Pete, hi, you're on here at WPLP.
Hello?
Hello.
Yeah, well, I agree with the caller, not the last one, the one prior. I think your attitude sucks, and I think your program sucks.
Well, what are you listening to it for?
Well, I'm not listening to it. Someone else told me to call up. You have a very poor attitude.
Somebody else told you to call up. You mean you don't even know for sure? That other person might have been lying to you.
You're a 6-foot bunch of jerks.
Gee. A 6-foot bunch of jerks. That's what he said, Michael. I don't know what it means. 6-foot bunch of jerks. Huh. I would think that a guy that... Hey,
Bob, how you doing?
Doing fine. Just down in your neighborhood about a week and a half ago.
Oh, great.
Some blind down there I love. I think it begins with a B.
I got a problem. I'm getting ready to go to school in Boston. I know you might not know the area, but do you have any idea of who you could recommend me listen to up there?
WRKO. You'll find Jerry Williams and Gene Burns on RKO, and also in the evening, WBZ, I guess it is, where you'll find Larry Glick.
Okay, sounds good. Also, your music's so good. Do you pick the music you play?
Yep.
Who is that?
Well, the last selection is George Benson.
Well, I heard a friend of mine listened to you, right? He said that you were really into Dave Brubeck.
No, I've never played any Dave Brubeck.
Oh, he must have been mistaken.
He must have been.
Okay, well, I appreciate it. Thanks, Rob.
Okay, I appreciate it, too. Take care.
Bye-bye.
All right. On a roll now. St. Pete, hi, you're on the WPLP.
Hi, they said I give you time tonight, huh?
Well, what can I say?
So speaking there, I want to say that I want that Carolyn Good.
Do you know what a 6-foot bunch of jerks is?
Sounds like you might have.
If anybody out there knows what a 6-foot bunch of jerks is, could you please call in and tell us? We're quite confused. But I didn't mean to take time on your call. Go ahead, please.
Well, I'm sure you've got everything under control. But I wanted to tell Carolyn that I'm also from Kentucky, and we certainly do miss her. We miss her terribly. And it's a pleasure to hear. And she's so intelligent. And I have a marvelous thing to talk about tonight. It really is. I wouldn't believe it if somebody told it to me. But years ago, you know, when we were first introduced to vitamin E, there was a book, a little paperback called Vitamin E, the Key to Your Healthy Heart. And I bought it. It was very awfully well written and very funny. They said that it took them 5 or 10 years to get vitamin E into the United States from Canada. And that's what they said, that after all, that's the way the American Medical Association, and it said, think nothing of it, because years ago in England, when they were trying to introduce the manner in which the blood flowed through the veins, he finally had to seek protection from the king. So what I had to say tonight will probably be looked at very grimly by the AMA, but I in my old age, I began to suffer from arthritis, and I've never had arthritis. And I've always been very active, and it was a terrible bore. So I started looking elsewhere. I mean, you could just take so much aspirin. And I started studying herbs. And I have found one, honey, that is cheap as dirt, and it's practically cured my arthritis.
Solvagon.
The name of it is FOTI, FOT. But let me tell you something about herbs. Herbs and enzymes. Be very careful about herbs because they are powerful little creatures. And when they come in little capsules, take that little capsule and empty it into some fruit juice and sip on it like tea. Sip on it like tea. And see whether you're allergic to it or not. And I'm not kidding you.
It's going to be worse tomorrow. I'm sorry, what was that?
Maybe they'll stop your jerks. Maybe they have herbs for everything. If your nose itches, they have an herb for that.
Could be a misplant, I suppose.
So I'm telling you, honey, you better start on the herbal plan and stop your jerks.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. You know, it wouldn't be the first time, but all 3 papers you wouldn't think would have the same misprint. Gee willikers. Let's see, Hillsborough, 224-0057. One line there. Pinellas, 393-0057. St. Pete, welcome to WPLP.
What's that, T-Fo? You talking about tea?
I'm not sure what she was talking about.
Oh, well, anyway, Lassiter Loquacious, how you doing?
Well, fine.
I haven't talked to you for months. I'm going to try to put on my straight personality tonight because I don't want to get canned this time.
Okay.
I had something good to say about Carolyn. I think she's got a nice voice. I think she sounds reasonably erudite.
I had Rocky and Carolyn that call. Yes.
And just because some of the idiots out there don't understand what you're saying and they want to call back and talk about it, they're exposing their ignorance because I can understand when you're talking your point of view. I can see that theirs is way out of line with what's really happening, and you are calling it like you see it. And I kind of agree with you most of the time. You do have a bunch of weirdos, but that's what makes the show interesting.
Well, that's true.
Yes, and that was a kind of neat attempt at Norm Crosby a couple of calls ago when he was talking about McFarland and the controversy.
Uh-huh.
So I thought that was Norm Crosby Jr. Anyway, I didn't have too much to say except that I thought that if Carolyn looks as good as she sounds, too, maybe that lady did have a reason to get jealous.
Well, Carolyn's a very good-looking woman.
Oh, she is?
Yes, she is.
Okay, well, that's neat. And see, there are people out there to be jealous of her and her education, and maybe you, too. I guess everybody's trying to one-up on you, and they're showing, that they can't do it. At least the way I see it, anyway.
Well, I thank you for the support.
Okie doke. And tomorrow ought to be a goodie, too, huh?
We're looking forward to tomorrow.
Yes, me too. Okay, good night.
Good night.
Thanks for not canning me this time.
You're welcome.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye. You've seen people say I'm mean, short, and abrupt on the phone. Nothing could be further from the truth. Bradenton, hi, you're on here at WPLP.
Hello, Bob.
What do you want?
I'm here.
Well, that's good.
I really enjoy your show, and I'll tell you, I've listened to WPLP on and off for years, and you keep me glued to the radio just about every night.
Thank you very much.
And on the weekend, I'd listen to recordings that I make of your show.
That bad down in Bradenton?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I understand. It's almost that bad up here.
But I'll tell you, you really make people think. I work all night, and it's really a pleasure to listen to you. I can't watch television at work because I use my hands, but it's really a pleasure, and you make my life really livable at night.
You're very kind. I appreciate that.
Well, thank you very much. And
thank you.
And I hope you're there a long time, or at least until you're ready to leave.
Thank you.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye now.
Okay, let's see. What the hell? We'll give the phone numbers again. Hillsborough, 224-0057. I like to live dangerously, especially when I give out this one. Pinellas, 393-0057. Tampa, you're on here at WPLP.
Well, Lassiter.
Yes.
Yeah, the wife and I enjoyed your show in Philadelphia.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you were there, right?
No.
You weren't?
No.
Oh, well, someone sounded like you. What I'm calling about is you should be very careful about these brain damage comments. It sounds very anti-Semitic.
Oh, really?
About that? Very anti-Semitic.
Oh, how's that?
Well, your whole description of the brain damage thing, I mean, we don't like that, you know? I mean, we don't need that Nazi stuff down here. And we don't, you know, you should stop smoking that coke and all that stuff, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, you know, you're an ignoramus, too.
Sean, you shouldn't do that. Not when we have your name and phone number, Sean. You just shouldn't do things like that. We're not very nice people here, Sean, when we know who you are. Largo, you're on here at WPLP.
Bob.
Yes.
What does Gary Hart and 3 million Chinese have in common?
Nothing I would think of.
They all eat rice.
Really?
What do you think of that one?
Very little.
Good night.
It says May 13th. This one says May 13th, too. Damned. Do you think there's a misprint on the calendar, maybe? Did we buy these calendars at the discount store again this year? Or do we pop the full price and... Clearwater, you're on here at WPLP.
Bob?
Yes.
Good evening.
Good evening. Good evening.
I think the answer to your question is a bunch of 1-foot jerks standing on each other's shoulders.
Oh, okay.
Does that make sense?
But I guess.
Well, there you are.
But all of us here are taller than 1 foot. As a matter of fact, I'm taller than 6 foot.
There's no accounting for what that guy's saying. I'm just trying to figure it out. You know, it's been puzzling me all evening.
Well, it's been puzzling us, too. But we have many mysteries here this evening.
Pardon me?
But we have many mysteries here to deal with this evening.
I heard that. My friend, I enjoy you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good night now.
Safety Harbor, your turn at WPLP.
Okay, Mr. Lassiter, how are you doing tonight?
About the same as I was the last time the caller asked.
Okay, here's
Doesn't change that
much. When you were doing your monologue at the beginning of your show, you were bleeped for around 5 seconds. What happened?
I don't know.
Did you break wind?
No, not to the best of my knowledge.
I don't know about you.
What would you like to know about me?
I got a personality test for you.
Oh, really?
How do you describe your personality? Are you a social person? A pious person? An economical person?
None of those fit so far. I'm a recluse.
Oh, come on. How about a vain person?
No, I'm not vain. Egotistical, but I'm a recluse.
Oh, you're not a recluse no more. You got married.
Well, I'm still a recluse.
Ah, I think you're a vain person.
No, I'm not very vain.
Well, this is what it is on this personality test. A vain person is a person who likes to smell other person's windbreakers.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good night.
you want to call the city desk and ask if there's any possibility, Michael, at all, that they could have...
The phone numbers that put you on the air at the show right here on this Mutual radio station.
10:37 the time. Newport Richie, hi, you're on your WPLP.
Hi, Mr. Bob.
Hi
My
there.
name is Susie Sparkle, and I'm 5 years old. And I just love your show.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you say a lot of bad words that you shouldn't say.
Mm-hmm.
I say those words to my mommy, and she tries to spank me, but she can't touch me because she's fat like you are.
Have you been into spanking for a long time?
Oh, I can't hear you, Mr. Bob.
I said have you... Take the earrings out of yours, and maybe you'll be able to hear better. Have you been into spanking for a long time?
Well, my mommy tries to spank me,
Would you like me to spank you?
well, no, I think you...
Oh, I see you want to spank me.
She can't catch me. Well, right now she's asleep. It's fine, though, because she's got all her clothes on, and she's in the bed asleep. She's got a bottle of water there.
Mm-hmm.
It's got a big V on it. You know what that means?
Gee, no, I wouldn't.
Oh, well, I don't know. Anyway, I better hang up because she gets mad if she knows I'm talking to you.
I'll bet she would.
But I'm going to keep listening, okay?
Okay.
Okay, bye.
All right. Oh. Clearwater, you're on the air, WPLP.
Hi, Bob.
Yes.
Hi. I've got this problem.
I'll bet you do.
I'm a male to female transsexual.
Mm-hmm.
But now I've decided I'm a lesbian.
Mm-hmm.
Are there any support groups for me?
I don't know.
Are there any supporters? Oh, get it? Oh.
Well, you do sound like what we used to call a jockstrap when I was in school.
That must have been a long time ago.
Yes, it was.
Did I see you in downtown St. Pete the other night in the blue dress?
No, you didn't.
Come on, the Biloxi blonde.
I had a beige dress on the other night, and I wasn't in downtown St. Petersburg. I was working downtown Clearwater.
Come on, you're the Biloxi blob. I know it.
You think you didn't expect me to answer like that? Kind of threw him. Tampa, you're on the air at WPLP. Why do they try to throw me? I don't understand.
Hi, Bob. How are you?
Fine, excellent.
Listen,
you want to check that number?
What?
No, I was just talking to my producer. I'm sorry. I just asked you to do me a favor. Please go ahead.
I was just calling to ask if maybe you wouldn't find it reasonable at different times when you have guests on or you're going to discuss let's say a real relevant issue to have the radio, because I listen most of the day, and I try to listen to you, but when I get home, I've got home stuff to do, and I turn you on and listen in between, and I really would enjoy, and I have enjoyed all of the programs that you've done that have some substance to them.
Mm-hmm.
And other times, this isn't a put down at all now, Bob. Other times you get like evenings like tonight where really it's, I've been working in the garage, so I put the radio on and I've been listening, and I've heard some of your shows that really, I just think fantastic in terms of expansion of ideas and your opinions and other people's opinions, and it's been tremendously interesting to me. And other times I hear programs like I'm hearing tonight, which to me is a waste of time to listen, and not because of you, but just the topics in general. And I'm not being a highbrow. I'm just saying all these phony calls and these people coming on with all this joke stuff. It's maybe it's great entertainment, but on the other hand, you must have certain times where you have regular guests on, or you want to discuss an issue of real substance to the community or to national politics or whatever. I, for one, would appreciate some announcement that Bob Lassiter is going to discuss such and such, like when they advertise on Channel 10 about Ted Koppel's going to be talking to so-and-so tonight. I listen to those.
Well, you see, Ted Koppel, unfortunately, has one advantage that I don't have. He gets to pick and choose who he talks to. I just answer the phone.
I just meant with guests or a topic. A topic, that's all. Maybe announcing the topic.
Well, I usually don't know what the topic is until right before the beginning of the show.
Oh, well, I don't know. You know, I'm not in your business, and you know what you're doing, obviously. I think that's pretty obvious to anybody that's listening. I was just saying, if I knew in advance that you were going to get on a serious subject, I would turn off the TV, turn on the radio, and listen. I'm sure there's a lot of your people out there that really like you, that want to hear what you have to say and your opinions about serious subjects without all of these crank calls and these funny people.
Well, you see, the problem is. Well, you see, the problem is all of those people that like those kinds of shows. Every few weeks, they just stop participating in them. They just kind of sit back and.
It's just a matter of knowing when they're going to happen.
I wasn't quite finished. They just kind of sit back and, you know, let other people carry the ball. And when that happens, then you see we get calls like we got tonight.
Well,
I have no control over it whatsoever.
I, for one, would call and participate in shows of substance. And I'm not trying to be a wise guy or saying I'm some kind of highbrow. It's just that I think there's a lot of serious issues going on in our country. And
I couldn't agree with you more. But people just don't want to talk about it.
To me, a realistic point of view to a lot of this stuff, and I don't hear
I'm going to tell you. I'm going to tell you one more time. I couldn't agree with you more, but the people just don't want to talk about it. And I, for one, am absolutely fed up with coming in here night after night after night trying to get a serious conversation going and dealing with what I've had to deal with for the last week and a half. I'm just going to lay back and wait for the audience to get its act together.
Bob, how about like Tuesdays and Thursdays you do it? And then you get all of the people like myself to listen.
Sir, I'm going to tell you for the third and final time. If the audience doesn't want to participate in a serious vein, there's not a damn thing I can do about it. And for the last week and a half, I have not been able to get a serious conversation going. So I've just given up for the time being. We'll just wait for the audience to recycle, whether that takes 2 nights or 20 nights. I don't care. And I'll be damned if I'm going to sit home and spend 5 or 6 hours putting together a show, come in here, deliver a 40-minute monologue, and be met with absolute silence or absolute fools on the other end of the phone. I'm just not going to do it.
All right, I understand. Have you ever heard of Gresham's Law?
No, sir.
It's an economic law, and it says that it has to do with currency. And when you try to promote one currency which is hard over another which is soft, the good currency drives out the bad. And what happens is everybody hoards like gold, you know, as opposed to paper currencies. And in the same sense, you've got real people that want to listen to you, and all of these crazy calls and all of
Sir, I've gone over with you. Sir, I've gone over with you 3 times. You're not understanding a word I'm saying, so I'm just going to move on.
You're in the entertainment business.
That's right. Thank you much for the call. St. Petersburg, you're on the air, WP.